on everything.
We're here. There it is.
Hey, friends.
Thank you for tuning in.
We're so excited to be here and talk with you and share with you.
Absolutely. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Mater. I identify as an energy intuitive. So that means I use different tools to work with energy. It could be oracle cards, it could be crystals, it could be pendulums, depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
It is my belief that it is through the art of communication that we create valuable connections. And it's these connections that are going to open bridge the gap that we need to create these meaningful connections to begin to work through some of our own healing.
We carry a lot of stuff. And we're here to start conversations.
Yeah.
And my name is Bahia, for those who don't know me. And I'm an engineer by trade, but kind of went through, I'd call it an emotional breakthrough in 2013. And on my journey, I've discovered that I too am an energy intuitive and also a shamanic practitioner. So I do work with energy, I work with people. And together, Sarah and I have decided to collaborate to basically start a revolution. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're going deep.
Yeah. I think that it is within us to be able to heal the world. And I know what you're thinking. Holy shit, Sarah, that sounds a little bit ambitious.
I wasn't expecting you to say that. I was thinking maybe one or two people.
Right. But it starts with us and those
Right.
one or two people. So to me, we begin to heal the world by lighting up our little pocket of it, our little corner of it. And it is our hope that through these conversations, sharing and connecting, that we can inspire you to begin your journey and to start lighting up your little corner of the world.
Absolutely. And before we begin and get into anything deeper, Sarah and I truly believe that it's important to start with a few deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want everyone who's joined in, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say welcome. Thank you. We are really, truly hoping to build a community and to get some really deep conversations going. Nothing is off limits. We want to talk about everything. We're going to start nice and slow, very gentle.
Ease into it.
Yeah. And then we're going to get to some juicy stuff.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to leave anything out.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
But we're going to start off easy and we're going to start off with just a few deep breaths. So I welcome you all, and I'm going to ask for all of you to just take a moment and to close your eyes with us. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. So the first breath, exhale. Second breath, exhale. Third breath, and exhale. Breath is such an important, well, it keeps us alive, first of all, but it really, having that moment to just take those 3 deep breaths really brings all of the energy into this now moment. We're all nice and settled.
That's right. It helps us to connect with where we are, wrap our brains around what we're about to do,
Mm-hmm.
and helps us to settle in and be present and be in the moment, which is imperative when you're doing something like this.
Absolutely. And then the second thing that we like to do is get some oracle cards going.
Mm-hmm.
So
we love cards.
We are very big into reading energy with oracle cards. And for those who don't believe in them or who don't use them, please don't stop watching us. Just watch the magic. Just sit through it as if it's like a show. You know, there's so much knowledge and wisdom to be gained when there's things that are happening around us or inside of us and we don't quite understand them. And if we engage with an oracle, and an oracle, basically the definition of an oracle is just something that helps you gain wisdom or an understanding. And so Google can be your oracle, and I've used that. Pinterest can be your oracle if you're seeking. So tonight, the deck that we've pulled out is Nature's Whispers. So we're both going to pull a card,
That's
and
right.
we're going to keep it face down until the end, and then we're going to read it. It's going to keep you to the end. So how I clear a deck is I knock 3 times and I connect with the 4 corners. And what I'm basically doing is asking to see what the energy is going to be around tonight, what the message is going to be, not only for Sarah and I, but for everyone.
For the collective.
Let's see what's coming up. And sometimes there's so many people, that it might take a while for the card to come up, which is okay. It means the message is still forming.
That's right.
Okay, that's mine.
Thank you.
Let Sarah pick hers. So Sarah's picking her card. We can just kind of get a little gauge. I see there's people that have tuned in. Thank you. And I just feel like I just have to give you a moment of silence. Just connect in. Feel your card. Oh, one fell on the floor.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Okay, you reach it?
Yep. All right, baby. You want to start? Who are you?
I'm Sarah.
Why are we doing this, Sarah?
We're doing this because it's so important that we share our stories. People have been communicating through storytelling longer than people have been communicating through written word. It's these telling stories historically and traditionally where wisdom and advice was passed on from generation to generation. And we think that, well, I shouldn't say we, I don't want to speak for both of us, but I believe that this connection is lost, that we're losing this, that the whole idea of something like the internet was to bring us together and make us feel more as one. And I think that it has perhaps done the opposite of that and created a little bit of disconnection in some ways. And we don't speak to one another anymore. And it is my belief that we are truly all more alike than we are different. We share so many similarities. And the way to see that and to sort of shed some light on that is to share our stories and realize that we have all gone through such similar scenarios, and they are always unique to us in exactly how they unfold, but the baselines and the morals of them are all so similar, and we all go through so many things, and we keep those things to ourselves, or we hide them, or we feel shame, or we feel that nobody could possibly understand and nobody else has gone through what you've gone through.
We've been conditioned, though.
That's right. It's these preconditioned beliefs that's what this is. A big part of this is knocking those down. So love is unconditional, but how many of you say to your families, to your friends, to your loved ones, I love you unconditionally? But how many of you say that to yourself? We create these conditions towards ourself, and we create these barriers, and unconditional love is meant just as much for self-love as it is for other people. As women especially, we take on the roles of caregivers, we take on the roles of the fixer, especially as empaths. We want to fix and heal everyone's energy. And a lot of the time that leaves us really depleted to fix and take care of our own energy. And if we aren't working on ourselves, we're no good to anyone else. We can't offer anything to anyone else if we don't have anything left to give.
And so our intention is for Love Spoken here is to create a safe space. As you can see, we're kind of like in this cave-like setting. It's so freaking cool. It just feels so cozy.
Yeah, we've got our blankets.
We got
and our
blankets
tea.
and tea, and we encourage you to get a blanket and tea to sit with us on Monday nights. We're still debating if we're going to go weekly or bi-weekly. It depends if you're sick of us or not. But the reason why Love Spoken here is so important to me is because I feel as though I came here in this lifetime to experience love and to really understand what it means to give and receive love. And at a very young age, based on my childhood and what I was exposed to, love was very confusing. And it made a lot of crossed wires as to what love was. And it led me as I got older to seek out certain relationships and friendships where I became a people pleaser. And I started to define my worth and people wanting me and loving me based on what I did for them. And it totally messed me up and put me in um, some pretty uh, it put me in situations that didn't allow for me to honor myself. And I spent 38 years in this role of just trying to appease and keep the peace. And it's, it all starts at childhood. It all starts when you're just wanting to be loved and nurtured. But then something happens, and your parents are going through their own things, and we don't understand that. We're young and we just want to feel loved and taken care of. And it's at that age when these beliefs and conditions start to form. And as we grow up and we get older, and then, our peers and what they think of us, and then judgment and the inner critic, all of a sudden our self-worth is shot to shit.
That's right.
Shit. And I had no self-worth. I defined my worth on how others viewed me. And it was exhausting.
I know there are so many of you right now who are relating to that.
Totally. I was exhausted. And so in 2013, I had what some people might call a mental breakdown. I don't call it a mental breakdown. I call it an emotional breakthrough. The life that I was living, I could no longer sustain. The amount of people I was trying to please, and the amount of energy that I was putting out, trying to keep everything going, to keep the facade going, to allow for people to think that Bahia had all of her shit together, is all lies. I was a hot mess inside. I didn't quite know how to process what was going on inside. And so as long as everything externally looked good, my house was clean, I drove a nice car, my kids were well behaved,
check.
I was
check.
the best friend. Everyone would come to me. I would do everything for them. My life was serving. It didn't serve me.
That's right. That's when it goes back to those conditions. You created the boundaries around yourself.
I had no boundaries.
That's right.
No boundaries. It was like,
So you loved yourself on condition.
Yes.
I love me if I can fix this.
Absolutely.
If I can make so-and-so feel better.
Absolutely.
If I can.
Yep. And so that's what love was for me. And it was so wrong. So wrong on so many levels. And it's led for me to be in a certain place in my life right now. And that will be for, conversations
another week
down the road. But for tonight, it's more of getting a baseline of who we are as people. I now am this person who absolutely loves herself, and I accept myself 100%. That road to getting there was not easy.
It's not an easy path to get there.
And it's so important to have a support network and to know that you're not alone. And this is why we've decided to come together to share our truth, our stories, who we are, and what's happened in our lives to, you on the other end who's listening to us could be able to feel and resonate and be like, me too. Oh my God, I can relate to that. I can feel that. And then just know and see that there is another side.
That's right. You're not the only one feeling that and thinking that.
No, but on the other side of that, you have the choice to change the belief systems and to make choices that honor you. And when you begin to honor you, your life changes and it takes on a whole new role.
Yeah, and I think the important key word that you just used was choice.
Yes.
A lot of us don't realize we have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We have a choice to be happy. We have a choice of how we're going to react or respond to different scenarios. You have a choice.
And I didn't feel like I had a choice.
Because nobody teaches us we have a choice. So that's a
Well, it was kind of taken from you.
Mm.
When I would go to make a choice as a child, I'd be told, no.
That's right.
You don't have a choice. Do as I say.
That's right. And then that's that preconditioned.
Yeah. And it elicits fear.
We gotta break through that shit.
We're rooted in fear. We're rooted in fear to make a choice or to make a change because as a child, we were told that if we did something that was wrong.
That's right. That's right.
And now we're saying we're going to make a revolution. We're going to give you permission to shake shit up a little
You
bit.
got to shake shit up every
We
now
have
and
to.
then.
We have to. How many
Yeah.
women and men are walking around with their hearts closed and unable to open up in a relationship fully? What does intimacy mean to you? What does it mean when you touch someone? Do you allow someone to touch you? And are you comfortable with someone touching you? These are so many things. There's so many people going around holding on to trauma,
That's
holding
right.
on to beliefs about themselves that are holding them back from real love.
Real love. We're not talking the fairy tale
No.
romance shit. We're talking about that unconditional
Yes.
love. The nitty, the gritty. It's ugly. It's beautiful. It's scary.
It's real.
It's real.
But when you can connect into that energy of acceptance, you know, love is all about acceptance and it's all about liberation. And it's just this feeling inside of you when, you know, for me, there's this vibration that happens. I'm a very vibrational being as an empath. I feel everybody's emotions and I process it. And in the work that I do, when I do one-on-one sessions with people, I'm feeling you and I know how you feel and I feel your blocks and I help you work through them and to move through them. And I feel like what we're creating here at Love Spoken Here is going to help you begin to open the heart space.
That's right. Even if you're not sharing a story with us, I think that you're listening and you're resonating to something. And if it's not something that Bahia and I are saying, we plan on having guests on to talk about different and various topics as well. And it's our hope that you resonate with something. There's something in there that you connect with. And I think that a lot of us are carrying around shit that we just push down real deep. And we thought if I just don't talk about it anymore, it means it's gone.
Yeah.
That's not true. We're here to tell you that's very not true. Because one day it's all gonna bubble up.
That's what happened for me.
Yeah.
And I had 5 abdominal surgeries and I had a fibroid that was the size of a basketball and it weighed 10 pounds. And that was removed, you know, my vertical incision, my abdomen down to my uterus, well, right below the pelvic bone. Is about this big. I can show you with my fingers. So that was how big the incision was.
That was a whole lot of shit you were hanging on to.
Right? That fibroid for me was all that shit that I picked up and absorbed. And it came out and then 4 abdominal surgeries later. And then finally I just took the uterus out. I did. And then when the uterus left, I started to have skin conditions. And I realized, something's going on here because I no longer had the uterus to create those fibroids inside of me energetically. And then with the skin conditions, I had to start figuring out why it was breaking out. Why was this happening?
It's your body reacting to anxiety, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then within a year, that's when I had extreme anxiety and I couldn't process anything anymore. And I started shaking and I went through a period for 3 months where nothing made sense.
That's our body's way of telling us that severe anxiety is that we've overstimulated it. We've put too much into it and we're expecting too much of it.
That's right.
Our body's a machine, right?
We're like computers.
That's right. And when you overstimulate it, it's going to crash.
Yep. So I crashed. And in my reboot, I rebooted in this way of almost like a sense of having a blank slate. But through that, there was this purge that happened. And I had to own my shit.
It's messy. It's messy, but you've got to do it.
It wasn't fun. There's a lot of crying, a lot of tears, a lot of discomfort in my body. I remember on my healing journey, I did yoga. And it was in yoga where I was physically feeling the anxiety and all of this stuff was being released in my body because the emotion is stored in the physical body.
That's right. Your myelin,
Yeah. So when we're healing and we're opening up trauma, we feel it in the body.
That's right.
And it's disguised as anxiety or hip pain or knee pain or shoulder pain or neck pain, even disease.
When in reality, you just got some deep shit you got to work through.
Yeah.
That's what your body's trying to tell you.
And we want to help you work through it.
Because we had to work through ours. My process to get to where I am was a little bit of a longer journey than Bahia's. I'm the survivor of an abusive relationship, and that is where I had some really skewed views of what love is, and what how you give love and how you receive love. And that's, that's a topic that we can sort of go into in a later time too. That's a whole it's a whole episode, that kind of love. But that's where my journey began, and it was it took a lot of work to get from where I was then to where I am now. And it was when I realized that I had a choice, that I got to decide if I wanted to allow someone to treat me and my body that way. It was hard. It was one of the hardest periods of my life. But if I hadn't have gone through that, the way that I have to look at it is, if I hadn't have gone through those few years, that experience, I wouldn't be where I am today, because I might not have worked so hard on me had I not had that trauma.
Mm.
Mm.
And the trauma happens at any age, you know. And we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about when you're a 5-year-old girl and someone says, come into the room, and they're an adult, and you're very confused, and you're wondering why your parents left you with this person that they trusted. You know, this shit happens. It's real. And it causes a lot of belief systems when you grow up and you have your own children.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, talking about it now for me and the incidences that I've gone through, I see them all now from a very detached viewpoint, because I've healed the trauma, and I'm able to see every experience that I've gone through in my life is what's led me here. And it's like, it's the healing codes that I carry now so that I can help others.
That's right.
So when people come to me and they share something that is so traumatic or so deep, I can resonate because I know what it feels like to be in that position. But I've also been able to get myself to a place where I can heal and release that trauma from the body.
That's right.
And so it's no longer something that I'm triggered by. And I can look at it and say, that happened.
You've done the work.
And that's okay. Like, when I say that's okay, I'm not saying it's acceptable behavior, but I'm saying that I'm okay. I'm okay. And you're okay.
And I'm okay.
And you're all okay.
You are okay.
You're all fucking fabulous. And we deserve to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and smile and love ourselves. And I don't want to cry, but I might cry because I think about, yeah, I'm a crier.
It's okay if we cry.
Because I think about, there was like so, I spent a lot of years not loving myself. I did. I was so hard on myself. I was so hard on myself. And if everything wasn't perfect, then I felt like I had failed. And so I had to let go of the control. And I wasn't given a choice, because it just kind of crept up on me. But as soon as I let go and I surrendered,
that's when the magic started, hey?
Yep.
Yeah.
The magic started. And now every morning when I wake up, I'm happy. And even though there's things that go on in your life that are still chaotic, you know, you can't control everything outside in the world.
No.
But you do have a choice in how you want to feel about yourself. And I know what it's like to not feel good about myself. And if there's people out there that don't feel good about themselves, I just want you to know that you can find a way. And we're here for you. And you can reach out to us and share your story and know that you're not alone.
You aren't alone.
Wow.
You're worthy of all the happiness, and you're worthy of all the happiness. And I'm glad that you choose that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my life.
Yeah.
It's flipping badass now.
Right?
Whew. But the road to getting to this place is messy.
It's really fucking messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to help you work through your stuff.
We're not here claiming that we are experts. We're not licensed therapists. We aren't going to offer you a magic pill or an article to read or even a message from an oracle card. We are here to offer you
Truth.
love.
Truth is my word this year.
Truth
And love.
And love. But love and truth
Go
go
together.
hand in hand.
Yeah, because if you don't have truth, then you're living in an illusion.
That's right.
And in that illusion, there's no love.
No.
There's no love.
And we're here to help you, hopefully inspire you to kickstart your own personal journey, because
Revolution.
that's right. It's a fucking self-love revolution. Because if you don't love you, how corny is this, and how many times have you read
It's
this
the
in
truth.
life? But if you don't love you, how are you going to teach somebody else how to love you or what you need? You've got to realize how fucking important you are. And if you can't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anyone else.
No.
No.
And it's so important to know that you matter. You matter. I really didn't understand that before, because I kind of felt like I was some sort of commodity. Like, and
A
even
lot of women do.
yeah, because
Yeah.
when I was studying engineering, it was a male-dominated field, and even though there was quite a few females in our class, when we got out into the work field, I was surrounded with a lot of male energy, and some of the comments that I had heard and what I experienced, still, it was that programming and that conditioning. It was like, you only got the job because you're attractive or the boss liked you. And I'm like, no, I got the fucking job because I'm qualified and I'm really smart. Like, I am smart.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah,
I am. I know you are.
I'm really good with spreadsheets still. But it really hurt me to know that people only valued, didn't see my value beyond this.
Yeah.
And so I always worked extra hard to try to get people to see what was inside of me.
As we do as women, we have to work 1,000 times harder, because we have to prove that not only are we pretty, beautiful, but that we have the brains. We have to work 10 times harder as men do to get the same position for less salary. But again, that's a whole other topic.
Oh, I actually make good money. I have to start making more money now because I'm doing my heart-based soul work, which it's coming. The abundance is coming.
It's right.
But it's so worth it. Yeah, because when you can live in your truth, I sleep so peacefully at night now. And every conversation that I have, when I look somebody in the eyes, I'm looking at them from my heart. And I'm an open book. What you see is what you get. And it wasn't easy to get there. I had to get through all of this shame and guilt and everything I was hiding. And a lot of that is conditioned, but it's also ancestral. We carry that from our mothers and our grandmothers.
Yep.
The way that we're living now and the choice that we have now is something that they didn't feel that they had. When we think back to the 50s, the 60s, even the 70s, it was a different time.
It's totally different. We've come a long way, but as everyone says, we still have a long way to go.
Yes, but we're also in a very unique time right now. There is this energy that's going around in the world where, and I'm going to try not to use all these weird words on everybody, but the vibration of the planet is rising. So if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of emotional stuff that's getting stirred up, whether you like it or not, and whether you're ready for it or not.
It's happening.
It's a clearing. We're purging. It's like cleaning of the closet. And we have to do it. We have to do it so that we can connect into our hearts. Because the only way that we can sustain this planet and live here is to start operating from here. Thinking can only get us so far. The rational mind can only get us so far.
That's right.
But when you're connected into your heart, there is this intuition. There's this deep knowing. There is an intelligence that lives inside of here that you can tap into. and begin to live in this rhythmical flow.
I like to think that that is the voice. Have you ever wondered when you talk to yourself who
Mhm.
you're talking to?
Right.
That's who I'm talking to.
Absolutely.
That's myself.
Yeah.
That's the deep seed.
Yeah.
That's, I'm gonna try not to lose y'all too.
Right.
But that's who I'm talking to.
So the seed is self. And so when we ask ourselves, who am I? That's a deep question.
That's a big question.
You
I
are.
still meditate on that.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's always evolving. But we hope that with tonight and just this brief introduction to who we are, that you're going to find a resonance or a connection with us and want to come on this journey with us.
That's right. We're going to each episode or each time we go live, we're going to focus on different topics.
Yes.
Yeah. So it won't be.
Tonight was intro.
That's right. That's why we were a little all over.
Get
the
a
map.
baseline, you know.
That's
for
right.
who we
Figure
are.
out who we are.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
see if you want to stick around.
We hope we do.
No, you will.
They will. They will.
They will.
I mean, we're pretty cool.
We're badass.
Oh, that instantly made me not cool by saying we were cool.
And we want you to write into us and let us know what topics you'd want us
That's
to
right.
discuss.
Yes. We want to know topics. We want to know what you want to hear about. What's something that you want to work on? What's something that you're curious about?
Like, we even want to talk about yoni eggs. And this isn't a yoni egg. But if you're wondering what a yoni egg is, see?
I should have brought the yoni wand.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Google that. You Google that after tonight.
You Google yoni egg and yoni wand. We'll talk about it.
And I haven't used one.
I haven't used the one yet. I won't use it before.
But if we're going to talk about these things, we might have to experiment. So we can tell you what it's like.
Not live.
No. Maybe. We got to get our audience rating up. But
that's a whole other channel.
Why? We're starting a revolution.
That's true. We can do whatever the hell we want.
And when we look at what a revolution is, it's the upheaval, the definition when I did the post on it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And I've lost it already.
Our current system sucks balls, and we know this. So we're creating this revolution to break down this old foundation. Let me see, I read. The definition of a revolution is the overthrow of a current system in favor of building a new system.
That's right. And so I don't know if everyone on here has sort of caught on, but things that we're talking about and things that we're doing, it's sort of the new norm. It's sort of become the popular thing. Healing yourself it's
what the planet needs right now.
That's right. That's sort of the natural shift that this was happening next. The Dalai Lama himself says it is the Western woman that is here to heal the world. I truly believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't being that overambitious saying we were going to heal the world.
No, we are.
We're going to start with our corner, a cave.
One heart at a time. I bet you tonight we affected maybe one heart.
At least one.
Maybe two.
Be nice. One each. You never know. And it's a full moon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. We didn't even really plan that.
No. And we'll talk about moon cycles, and we're going to get into a whole bunch of different things.
We like to talk about all of that shit.
Yeah. But for tonight, we just wanted to introduce ourselves.
That's right. Hi.
I'm Bahia.
I'm Sarah.
And together,
we're Love Spoken Here.
And should we tell them a little bit about how this all started?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were going to do that.
So we're going to end off with the story of how the two of us came together, because we really, before this, had only met three times before we met for coffee.
Yes, it was 3 times before we met for coffee.
All right. So would you like to start, storyteller?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So a friend and I went to a guided meditation at the Salt Room. I thought that sounds pretty cool and like I'm into it. And we went and we didn't know what we were in for. And Bahia was leading. She was guiding the meditation. So that was my first interaction. I was really drawn to Bahia. There was something about her energy. I really enjoyed being around her. And we had intended to go back the following week for meditation, and we couldn't. It ended up being, I think it was months and months later before we came back for the second meditation.
Yeah.
So we came back for the second meditation, and it was Bahia leading it again. At the time, I didn't know that it's mostly you, and I thought it was sort of by chance. But then I realized that's your jam. It's what you do.
Yeah, Salt Room, Thursday nights. It's soul magic.
You really got to try it.
Oh.
It's really awesome. So we met there. Went back months later. Still felt this great connection. And Bahia had told my friend and I about this amazing full moon. It was the
eclipse.
That's right.
Yeah. It was the eclipse and full moon, and I was doing a drumming circle. And my other partner, I collaborate with a beautiful friend, Dawn Sinclair. We collaborated on a book called Self. And so we are equal essence. And we were doing a workshop together. Well, it was a gathering.
Yeah.
I was drumming and Dawn was creating an energy piece.
Yeah.
With paints.
Yeah, it was really magical. And so at that second Salt Room meditation, my drum came up. So Bahia, your drum, I believe, was at the very first meditation, but you didn't have a drum with you at that second one.
Right.
So one of my best friends lives in northern Saskatchewan, and she has gifted me. She had an elder make me the most magic, powerful drum. And I wasn't really quite sure what to do with her. So Bahia and I got talking about the drum, and then I believe that's how the workshop sort of came about.
Yes.
And my friend and I hummed and hawed about if we were going to do the workshop or not, and there just happened to be only 2 spots left on the day of the workshop, so we got signed up and in there. And Bahia told me to bring my drum along. I thought everybody was going to have a drum.
No. It was just Sarah and I that had drums. But she was very shy and bashful. So as I was drumming, we did 2 rounds. And in the second round, when I was drumming, there was this beautiful woman who comes to my Thursday night Salt Room meditations, Judy. She got up and went to Sarah and said, "You got to play your drum. You got to play your drum."
There's like 15 women sitting in a meditation circle. Everyone is very into it. Bahia's drumming. I'm equally, my eyes closed. I'm meditating. I believe I was in a field somewhere. Dawn's painting. And then I feel these hands on my hands. And I thought, holy shit, this meditation is amazing. Like, I really feel like I'm a part of this. And it was this beautiful soul telling me that I needed to bring my drum out and play with Bahia. I looked around the room and everybody had their eyes closed. So I figured for somebody who's a little bit nervous sometimes, it was the perfect opportunity. So I whipped out the drum and I started to drum with Bahia, and we, in perfect unison.
Yes.
In perfect unison. It was like we had rehearsed it.
Yeah. We found that resonance instantly, like the beats together were flowing. And it was after that night you had reached out with a message and said, "I really feel, and I don't know why, like we need to meet for tea."
I said, "I normally never do this."
I was like, "Sure, okay, let's do it," because that's who I am. Yeah. I'm always open to all experiences. And when we met, we were both buzzing.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think I was probably still vibrating high from that drumming. Gosh. That was, I have never felt anything like that. That was incredible.
The drum is powerful. You guys should come join a drumming circle with me.
You really should. I recommend it. And yeah, so we met for coffee and it was instant. We knew.
Kombucha. I don't drink coffee.
Oh yeah, I had coffee. Yeah. And then we sort of knew that we had to collaborate on something.
Yes. Yeah. It was very instant, and the visions were coming in. There was this electricity. There was this, and this was in February.
That's right.
And here we are now in September, after the equinox in the fall. So it's like the beginning of fall on a full moon, and we've started Love Spoken here.
And how cool is that? And so Bahia and I met. It was February. We knew we were going to do something, as most amazing projects do. They start off with sort of ideas being tossed around. And the March full moon, I was at my home doing my own drumming for the full moon. And in the middle of drumming, I was sort of disrupted and pulled back by a little crash. because this fell off the wall. It's pretty secure on here with a metal wire. So what this is like a needle point. I think it's actually a pretty generic pattern that was in the 80s.
Yeah.
But my great grandmother had started it. My grandmother finished it, and my grandfather built the frame for it.
Aww.
So it crashed, it fell on the floor, it pulled me to, and I got up and I walked over to it and I said, "Oh, love spoken here. That's what this is.
Yes.
That's what this project
I'm
is."
like vibrating now
So
when
I
you
was
talk about that.
reading the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
So when we met again, and she had said, I think we have a name.
Yeah,
Love
we didn't really
spoken
know
here.
what it was, but we
No.
knew what it was going to be called.
But as soon as she said it, I was like, oh my God, that's it. And then we have a beautiful friend, Lizane Tan, who I adore. And we started kind of brainstorming what the logo would be. And then Lizane created the logo behind here.
How beautiful is that?
So that's our logo.
Yeah, we have a logo.
But it was inspired by
an old cross stitch or needle point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know that this is being divinely orchestrated.
Absolutely.
And that we are working here together for a higher purpose. And that purpose is to connect all of you.
That's right.
To this, to heart, to love.
That's right.
And to know that you are deserving of it. My whole life, my whole life spun quite upside down last May when I declared to the universe that I am deserving of love. I didn't quite realize how powerful declarations and intention settings are. When you actually speak those words, there was just this emotion or reaction that I had inside of me when I already thought that I knew what love was. I had no flipping clue, and I still don't 100%.
We're all learning,
always, every day. But it really started a whole chain of events that has led me to where I am now. But I've never been more happier, more at peace, more whole.
Sometimes we have to break open, crack open, to really, as we said, as we spoke about, breaking down those preconditions, breaking ourselves wide open. That's where the light is. That's where our heart is. And we are light workers. We are all light workers. You all have intuition. You all have it within you. And if we can just shine our light, our true, genuine light, in our little corner, our little pocket of the world. If everybody did that, imagine what the world would be.
So we're going to try to crack you open.
Yeah.
We're just going to poke a little bit.
We're just going to poke and prod a little bit.
But just know that it's okay. It's okay. We're here for you. We're going to hold that space.
That's right.
And we're starting a revolution.
Yeah. I would love to send those of you who are still watching away with a little bit of homework, if that's cool. I'm going to send them home with some
and then we
homework.
have to read our cards.
Yeah. So I would just ask you to, and maybe next week, if you want to, if you feel comfortable to, you can message us and tell us what might have come up for you if you want to, and we can sort of talk about it a little bit more next week. But I invite you to, and I know this sounds so simple, when you're in the shower tomorrow morning or tonight, I want you to say your name out loud 12 times in a row. You are going to be shocked the shit that stirs up for you. We'll talk about it next time. Say your name 12 times to yourself in the shower. I mean, you could do it in the mirror if you wanted to, but there was something about doing it in the shower that was nice.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's see what the messages were from Spirit. You want to read that one? All right. Mine says, show your support. Thank you for showing your support.
Mine says, trust your own understanding.
Okay. So, number 40. I'm going to read mine. Show your support. Take time to encourage a colleague, coworker, family member, or friend. Be a strong shoulder or willing volunteer to run errands. Provide a safe space for another's concerns and feelings to be discussed. And be a good listener. Jump in on providing extra time. Sponsor someone else's work. Share in someone's success. All of nature continually shows us the value in creating a strong network.
Imagine.
Right? The trees provide shelter and support for many different inhabitants. We are a community, and when we support each other, everyone gains. You can't make this shit up.
Right? Come on. Come
Love
on.
it. Okay, and you're going to read your message.
Yeah.
So thank you for your support.
So I got trust your own understanding. The information you are receiving is reliable and accurate. Look deeply into the situation before making any commitments. You have the foresight and ability to discern that there is more here than meets the eye. Everything will be revealed in the appropriate time. Don't feel the need to prove yourself. Interesting. Be patient and allow things to unfold as they will. Trust in your own observations and knowledge. They hold your truth.
Oh my God.
This shit is so good.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is why we love the cards.
Right?
It just, whenever I feel stuck and blocked, I just go into my space. I have this space that I've created for myself, and I light a candle. I hold an intention, and then I call on my decks to help me understand something. And I'll give you this example. On last Monday, we were supposed to go live 2 Mondays ago, but something kept coming up because it had to be tonight. It had to be after the equinox, and it had to be on the full moon. We have to trust.
We just rolled with it.
We rolled.
That's all you can do.
That's what you do. And so last Monday, we were still supposed to get together. But I was in a car accident, and I'm okay, but I was stopped at a red light, and the car in front of me just decided to back up and ram my beautiful baby, who's a year old, and she's in the shop right now. I miss her. I know.
I've been sending her lots of
Thank you. But so smashed the car. We pulled over to the side. I was calm. I didn't react because I know now everything is energy. So I'm going through the process of what has to be done. And then when I got home, I was trying to understand, why did that happen to me? Why? And so I pulled out a deck and I sat there, and the 2 cards that came out was have faith in the process and grief work. And I've been going through a lot of changes last summer and this summer, and there has been a lot of grief energy that I've been going through. And so the card took the brunt of that. And then have faith in the process was trust that there is something bigger at play here. And it helped me process and let go of why me? Why did it have to happen? Why do I now have to go through all of this? That's why I love the cards, because it brings a language to the energy.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And so every time that we come and sit, we're going to be pulling a message, and we're going to see what the energy is all about. And we look forward to becoming more interactive with you. This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to
speak with you.
And we're going to get all fancy, and we're going to try to figure out how to zoom in other people, and
yeah, we'll figure that shit out.
And even get someone on the phone to share their story or to talk to them. Yeah.
That's right, because it's not just us who have stories to share.
Oh, no.
No, we all have stories, and you can relate to them. I'm certain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It means a lot.
It really does.
Now, how do we want to end this? Do we want to end again with a few deep breaths?
Yeah, I think that would be a nice way to close it out.
So for those who want to stick around, I'm just going to do just a little very quick meditation just to kind of bring all of this in. So I invite you now to close your eyes and just to bring your awareness back into your breath. And if you choose, you can place your hand on your heart. And you can breathe into that heart space. And if there's one nice thing that you can say to yourself right now, I am. And just say it 3 times. just a few minutes. And know that at any time, whenever your energy starts to get fired up and you start to lose your shit and things start spiraling out of control, you can come back to your breath. Your breath is your anchor.
That's such an important tool.
Yes. And it's very simple. You can just sit and you can put your hands on your thighs and you just close your eyes. And when you inhale, you kind of inhale deep into the belly and you allow for the belly to expand like a balloon. And then when you exhale, it's through the mouth. Just imagine that you're letting go through the exhale all of the stress, all of whatever you're feeling. And then with the inhale, you imagine that you're breathing in new life force energy. So it's like every breath is a new step, is a new choice, is a new opportunity. Every breath.
It's a really easy way to bring yourself back to center when you're at work, when
Yes.
your kids are driving you crazy, when you're
Mhm.
in traffic. I don't suggest maybe closing your eyes.
Not when you're driving.
Not in the driving
No.
part. No, but maybe when you get to where you're going before
Yeah.
you get out of the car, take a minute and really breath work it's been a game changer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love touching myself. And I don't know if that sounds, but I do. I touch myself a lot. And this really helps to start to engage that touch within yourself, to let yourself know that you matter. You know, I love doing this.
Yeah, it feels nice.
It feels freaking nice. Try it now.
Nice. You should touch yourself.
Touch yourself.
Yeah. Touch yourself, breathe 3 times, and say your name 12 times out loud in the shower.
There
That's
it
your
is.
homework.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Did you end it?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, well, we didn't end that one.